Hey guys, it's Barrett Freeman with Freeman Brothers Realty. This is PropertyTales podcast. Let's get started.
Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go? I don't know. Where do we go?
So I'm here today with Kayla Yokley. She is a realtor with Freeman Brothers Realty here in Corbin, Kentucky, and she's here to talk about all things real estate. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Kayla. I'm with Freeman Brothers Realty.
Yeah, how long you been with us?
A few months.
I know. So I sent her an email back in November, December, or maybe a text. I noticed that she kind of was inactive a little bit for a few months, but I thought she looked really professional, and we were trying to build our team because we just started our brokerage that month. I just passed my broker's test, and I was waiting for my license, and we had this opportunity to, sell a bunch of houses, but I needed a team. And I had my aunt, Tanya Freeman. She was with Remax on Main here in Corbin, and she was looking for a little bit more responsibility. So we'd offered her a manager's position, but we still needed people to, sell houses for us. I didn't really want to poach anybody that was, making a lot of money for somebody. And I thought Kayla had all the skills, just nothing against your broker. I just don't think you were being used to your full potential there for whatever reason. So I sent her a text. We met 2 or 3 times. I know what I always look for in an agent. I want to make sure that obviously, they present themselves well. They don't say anything horrifying, that they're not psychopath. So that last one's a little bit harder of a test, but so we did have multiple meetings. I don't know. Did you know what I was why I was reaching out when I texted you?
No, I actually had no idea.
No idea.
No idea.
What would you think I was wanting? I guess, what did you know about Blake and I before the text?
Honestly, I thought that the text was like a spam.
Ah.
I didn't think it was real.
Had you heard of Freeman Brothers Properties?
Yes. So I knew you guys did management, and I knew you guys got into maintenance, but I didn't know that the realty business was starting up. So
I'm glad you responded. I tried, because I do have to send, as a lawyer, as a broker, as just doing business all over Kentucky, I do have to sometimes send those cold texts. And I think I got your number off the MLS, or I can't remember I don't know how I was even exposed to like something of yours online where it said you're a realtor. And I was like, wow, she looks really professional. And then I went to the MLS and I saw that you'd been a little bit inactive. So I was like, maybe there's an opportunity there. Because we were building a team, and I wanted my team to look like. I wanted a really tight knit group, 4 or 5 agents max, which is still the case, and just people that are obviously look professional, because there's a lot of people around here that aren't as image conscious as they should be. And so I knew Kayla was definitely image conscious, because all of her stuff online was actual headshots, actual business attire, normal makeup. Normal hair. So I was like, okay, there might be an opportunity there. And then we met 2 or 3 times, and I guess so were you surprised with the job offer?
yeah, I was. I had no idea what we were going to discuss. I wasn't sure.
Well, first of all, we didn't meet in like a office. We met in my law firm.
Right.
I guess there's a chance that you're in trouble.
It could have went several different ways that day.
Well, so what were your first impressions of the realty company that we were starting?
Super exciting, since I already knew kind of about, I looked up your other portions of the, investment world. So
We've got a few separate slices.
right,
of our pie.
different entities. So I looked up that, and, you're pretty active. You know a lot of people, which is always good for real estate. So it was exciting.
Okay, so to be clear, you were aware of us before, just
I didn't know about the realty part, but I knew about the property management and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if that's why you were reaching out. I didn't know about the realty side yet.
So what's your sales background?
I've been in sales for 8 years for a separate kind of thing, but I got into real estate about 2.5 years ago. So I've been in sales for quite some time, just a different segment of sales.
You're actually in the tobacco market too.
Yes, I do sales for tobacco. So a bit different business, but this, all business kind of goes hand in hand with sales.
Well, I have a saying that all business is sales.
Right.
And if you're not putting yourself out there in every possible avenue, you're not doing it right, because no one is going to do business with you if they don't know who you are.
Right.
And so, and that's, we obviously we want talented people around us, but we also want people that, dressed well, took care of themselves, present themselves well. Like, I've never seen you not like in business attire.
Right. Yeah, I think that when you're in sales, you need to look the part at all times. You don't really
I
want to look
100%
lacking.
I 100% agree.
Because people sometimes don't take you very serious.
This is the most dressed down I get, like if I'm in public. Like 50% of the time I'm in a full suit and tie, but it's hot outside, and I don't want to like be sweating on camera. So how's real estate going for you this year? It's 2023. The rates are nuts. How's it feel to be inside the business on your end?
I feel like it's pretty slow everywhere, but I feel like I'm still doing well. I've learned a lot this year about technology and the new things that are coming about.
I made you get a Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, different kind of branching out on social media, learning more about advertising, chatbots.
Oh gosh, what a game changer.
Yeah, it makes things so much easier, just kind of gives you a template to work on. So
I use ChatGPT several times a day, and what I do is like I let it create the structure of what I need, and then I just make my changes. Right. So like today I needed a letter. It gave a great letter, and it took me 5 minutes, what normally would have taken me maybe 30.
Yeah, all you have to really do is proofread, the template that they give you, but it gives you really good ideas and helps you kind of think outside the box whenever you get stuck.
Oh, it's just fantastic. You've got a big house right now. You've got our biggest listing that we've ever had right now as far as residential houses go. We've got some land. You never know if those will sell, but as far as something that I think will actually sell in the next month or two, how did you get that house?
It's a friend of mine's property, so they are moving, and so I'm going to sell it.
It's in London, Kentucky. It's a 6-bedroom.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous house. Has beautiful columns out. It's in a quiet subdivision. Very family oriented.
I love London as a market anyway. I'd love to live in London. I love Corbin, but London's just the next level.
Right.
Way more restaurants, way more things to do. We, as investors, Blake and I, buy more in London than Corbin because it's similar prices, but it's just you can ask more rent for whatever reason.
Wow.
So we have a bunch of apartments by St. Joseph Hospital, and that's so nice because the nurses and doctors want to live really close. As far as investing, is that something in your future?
Yes. I think that real estate is the best investment that you could do, because it never really diminishes as long as you do it right.
Well, you got ahead of the game with getting your sales license. I have a lot of people come to me and ask, how should they get involved in investing? And Blake and I invested for 5 or 6 years before we got our real estate license. And as soon as I got my real estate license and we were saving all that money representing ourselves at the sale, we could have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission if we'd got our real estate license up front.
Right.
So I always tell people, get your real estate license. There's no downside other than the investment of time, and also no one likes to take tests.
Yeah, I think no one likes to take the time to do it, but I think if you're very serious in it, that it is a good avenue to do. But sometimes people just don't like to take the time to set.
Plus, it's the difference in feeling around in the dark, doing a real estate deal, and actually coming at it and knowing what you're doing up front.
Right.
It just, from a risk standpoint, it's just much smarter. Fortunately, Blake and I are lawyers, so that cut down on a lot of that risk because, we knew what a contract was before. I knew what real estate actually means. But, the public generally doesn't know those things until you actually study it, get your real estate license. So, yeah, you definitely started out right. So once what conditions are you looking for before you'll finally invest?
I think I would look like more in the Lexington market, just because I feel like I know more people up there, as far as like venturing out to that way eventually. So,
Oh, it's a fantastic market. It's just hard because look how hard it is to get the deals here in town. You know, you got network. A lot of the
Right.
multi-units private.
right.
I bet the last 10 multi-unit deals Blake and I did were private, which is nice, and that's the reason why we put ourselves out there on social media so much. They know, okay, at least there's a buyer there. You know, it might be a price we're not interested in, but we
Right.
always say yes, we'll look at it. We never said, and why would you say no? There's so few deals. You better look at anything that's in front of you.
Yeah, knowing people is definitely the key.
And that's the problem with Lexington for us is we just aren't, you know, we're not going to restaurants and bars and running into the random guy that's also in real estate that might know somebody or some kid who's like, oh, my grandpa died and I've got these 3 apartments that I don't know what to do with.
Right.
That's happened to us several times in this area. Just networking as hard as we can, and we'll hear something that catches your ear, like, you know, oh yeah, Joe, I just inherited this house and I don't know what to do with it. I was like, well, let me tell you what to do with it. You know, use an investment property, rent it out. If you're not comfortable doing that, then let us sell it. You know, if you don't want to manage it yourself, we'll manage it. So, I mean, we've definitely tried to build out all those services. But you only get those opportunities if you're out in that community. So I don't have a good solution for how to break into Lexington other than to live there.
Right.
You know, you're on the road a lot, you know, so, I mean, are you getting up there on the road?
I have friends that live up there, but I don't quite get up that way. But, I mean, I think it would be a good challenge. I think that it's not unheard of. It can be done, just not as easy. I think you'd have to be a little bit more into the market and stuff. The market's very different than up here, so.
Yeah, and, you know, I'd be scared to, I would definitely be nervous to just go ahead and make a huge purchase,
Right.
you know, like an 8-unit, 10-unit plus. I might start with the duplex, but, you know, Lexington, every new city has its own challenges. Owning an investment property in downtown Corbin versus outside the city limits is way different. The city taxes are so high that it's almost worth buying something outside city limits. You're saving $1,000 a year per unit. So have you had any challenging clients recently? Don't say any names. Don't keep it vague, but.
Yes, I did. It was interesting. I had someone contact me that was from the Amish community, which is much different than today's clients, because now we kind of take advantage of dot loop, and you can just email, send over a text, send over, you know, anything like that. And people from the Amish community, you know, don't use technology.
I guess we don't have to worry about them seeing this. So I guess we can talk about them gently. We love our Amish community, but I don't think they're on YouTube.
It was great actually, because it kind of taught me to go back a little bit, and you know, you have to handwrite everything, send it in the mail, send an envelope back for everything to be signed, kind of send any of the documents that you did have so that they could visually look at them. Today we can just, you know, shoot over a file real fast.
How did they get a hold of you in the first place if they don't use technology?
So they had like a landline that they could use. So it was kind of difficult getting in touch with them because they weren't always at the phone. And sometimes, you know, you can't leave a voicemail for like a community phone. So
Was voicemail even an option?
I don't think so. I don't think so. So it was a little bit difficult to kind of get everything in order. It was kind of like, hey, we're going to contact you tomorrow, and I would make sure that I didn't miss the call.
So it was kind of they made an appointment to call?
Yes, yeah, we did everything planned, and then when it came time for the closing, you know, they would want to have something that they could get in their horse and buggy, you know, to go close to.
What was their like range with a horse and buggy?
It was like 10 miles from their house. They're not bad.
No, not bad.
But I definitely had to plan out the closing. Sometimes you can get them done pretty quickly within a couple of days, but I had to explain, you know, we have to give these people time to get there because it's going to take me a couple of days to get in touch with them to even get the appointment straightened out.
So there's definitely different communities of Amish in our area. And this isn't really my story to tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway. One of my veterinary friends, she does horseshoeing. Mm-hmm. And so this guy called her needing his horse's shoes like redone. And so she didn't realize that she was with an Amish person, kind of like you did at the beginning. She went out to, did her job or whatever, and apparently, obviously each community is different, but in their community, it was like the worst kept secret that a lot of them had cell phones.
Right.
And they would only use it for business and like to make their lives a little bit more convenient, but it's still like she would get texts from this guy. There was an Amish guy.
That's
and
funny.
I love that. Like text really fast and I put it away before anyone saw, but then everybody knew like, oh, well, someone from the outside came in and did business. How did they get a hold of them?
Yeah.
Didn't send a carrier pigeon.
It definitely took me back a little bit to remember how things were done a long time ago. We just take advantage of like everything happening so quickly. I couldn't just be like, oh, we'll pull up your email real fast.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's definitely easier when the people use technology. Obviously, I mean, everything we do is through apps now.
Yes.
I mean, we have a realty office, but you don't have to.
Right.
I mean, we kind of have to. We run our maintenance company out of here, or we run our property management out of here. But if it was just realty, really, I mean, realty offices are quickly becoming obsolete.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a little bit more patience when you do things through the mail. You kind of have to wait around a little bit longer, but it's definitely not unheard of.
And even as a broker, I just communicate with everybody like group text.
Yes.
I mean, that's just so much easier. We're going to have a meeting once a week to talk about one thing, maybe, but it would only be for like team building, which again, we're a team, as in we all work together, but it's not like you need another agent to do anything. So.
Right. Everything's pretty much done over the phone. You can have Zoom meetings. Just technology makes everything so much more simple.
Didn't you have a California girl like call, like, what was that story?
Yes, a person from California was going to buy a property out in Kentucky. They didn't exactly know where they wanted to live, but
probably didn't know the state well.
Right. Most people that are out of state don't know the state well, and we do have a big Amish presence in several cities around here. And so they gave me their wish list, and as a basic, this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms. We want this and this kind of
A
kitchen
nice wooden
and
porch.
yes, out in kind of country setting. And I found them the perfect home, and it was beautiful. They loved it. And then they were reading it, and they were like, we love this home, but Kayla, I don't think that it has electricity. And I said, well, it wasn't exactly on your wish list.
What did they say?
They said, oh my gosh, you are too funny. And they said, we didn't
You
realize that we needed to write that. And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't know that it was like a must. I didn't know.
Also, you can add electricity generally.
Right. It was they loved it. They ended up going to look at it. They didn't get that home, but.
Unfortunately, that is something you have to put, because we have a house listed right now in Williamsburg, and the electricity is like from the 60s.
Right.
And so we had a contract, and the sellers did inspection, and the inspector's like, the whole house is going to have to be rewired. Shouldn't kill the deal, but
Yeah.
It's going to cost somebody money to either rewire the house or you're going to have to live with fire hazard, I guess. And the big issue with I just hit my microphone. The big issue with that is some like FHA and VA loans, they won't approve a house that way.
Yeah, those are more of like investment type properties, people that can have the time and money and know what they're doing to kind of get that property up to par.
That's definitely true. It's priced for investment. I'd love to buy it myself, but so Blake and I bought several houses in the fall to remodel and try to flip. We've never done that before ever. Have you listed any of those? We've only done a few of them. We actually have two that we're putting on the market in London next month, which will be great. But as soon as we put them on, as soon as we finished flipping them in February of this year, the interest rate skyrocketed and nobody was buying houses. So we're sitting on 5 houses right now.
Wow.
All this money tied up. We renovated the house. Has been really nice, and we're not even getting any showings. We're not getting any calls. We've lowered the prices like 3 times. It's just killing us. We're now at that point where we're having to make a decision. Do we sell them till next year?
Right.
We're paying loans. And I think a lot of people are in that situation where their money's tied up in real estate they can't push right now. Otherwise, we would buy a house like that in a heartbeat and remodel it. It's in Williamsburg. It's close. We it'd be easy to manage. But it's just definitely interesting times right now. I don't know how closely you're following the interest rate stuff.
Yeah, the interest rates are high, but in the past, 20 years ago, the interest rates were even higher. People just don't know about that kind of era.
Yeah, it's hard to step back and look at it from the historical perspective. But in 2006, so residential interest rates right now are 7.5% interest.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, I was getting that rate for the houses we were buying.
Right.
And I was happy about it.
Yeah.
Because they were 8.5 like 6 months before. So, we were in a dream when rates were at like 4%, 3%. But, I mean, we can't expect that to happen ever again.
Yeah, everybody kind of compares it to the COVID rates of the 2%, 3%. But that's so low compared to all the rates throughout the time period of life.
Yeah, never. It's never going to happen again. And hopefully it doesn't, because that means something really bad has happened and the Federal Reserve is trying to goose the economy. Put a bunch of liquidity in the market and try to keep people like not starving to death. And then of course right now we're seeing the hangover from that, because now the Fed's trying to scrape all that money back out of the economy by raising the rates. And so what happens when they raise the rates? People don't buy houses right now, and all of a sudden the residential and commercial market just grind to a halt, and all the builders that we were hiring to do remodels, we're not doing that right now. All the other the stores we're buying materials from, we're not buying materials anymore.
Right.
So it's definitely tough. I hope it doesn't last too much longer, but so obviously like in 2008 when like the housing bubble, the subprime mortgages, like the housing market collapsed. That was in 2008. It took until 2014 for the housing inventory to return to any normalcy. So if 2022 was like 2008, I mean, we're looking at 2025 before things start feeling a little bit more normal. So, and like we talked about, it's really going to be last man standing. Can you be smart with your money? Can you keep your company surviving, long enough for the macroeconomics to return to where people can start selling their house?
Yeah, but I think still, even with these interest rates, it's still a good investment. You're going to get your money in return.
I agree. I tell people, don't worry about the interest rates. Buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where you can refinance later, and you can get that money back. Whatever you put into it, you can get it back.
I agree. Historically, house prices go up no matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the oldest industries.
Yeah, everything is going up. Groceries are going up. Gas goes up. Everything kind of goes up as the economy changes. So just a changing.
I know. So I just accept that as fact.
Yes.
And then make good decisions.
Yes.
Especially with rates. I mean, rates are a roller coaster. They're up now. Refinance in 3 years when they go back down, or not. Just make sure that you're buying the property low enough.
Rate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, low enough that you can still cash flow with the rent.
Yeah, I think some people aren't aware of how things work. I certainly wasn't aware before I bought a house, the process of everything. You don't really know about real estate agents. You don't know about rates. All you know is that people say that the rates are high and it automatically scares you. But, sometimes it evens out with the price, with the rate on what you're even paying on your mortgage. So
this has been episode 4 of the PropertyTales podcast. I appreciate you coming on, Kayla. You've been a great agent. And you've been just working really hard, so I'm really glad you're on our team.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to really invest a lot of time into producing these new podcasts, doing the social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We're trying to get our name out there. We want you guys to hire us to, help you buy, sell, invest. Kayla's all over the state. So, yeah, give us a call. Otherwise, I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.